Yeah, just.
This one? I guess so. Okay, that's simple.
Hello and welcome to Benefit and Success of our MultiPoint Foundation System. I'd like to introduce Peter Charbursky, a manager of Triadatic MultiPoint Foundation from Iron Prior, Ontario, providing solutions to First Nations for their housing projects across Canada and across the States. He managed the 25 million in energy budget for 25 PWGSC buildings in downtown Ottawa. Also, in 2010 fiscal year, this portfolio was recognized as the most improved energy efficient in Canada. I'd like to present you, Peter. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Lem. Thank you, Lem. Good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, is my presentation up or not? Yeah. Who's heard about Triadatic before this presentation? Nobody. So everybody's agreeing. All right. So we know. Who's heard of MultiPoint Foundations? Nobody. Okay, that's good. So Triadatic is a company that is in Iron Prior, Ontario, which is just outside of Ottawa. It's about 40 minutes outside of downtown Ottawa. The factory's there and all our offices are there. It was started in 1955. They started with doing industrial buildings and architectural products, and then we evolved into the foundation system. So this is the pedigree of the structure that you see here up front. I brought if you, at the end of the presentation, you can come and have a look at the MultiPoint Foundation, how it's put together. And so all of those buildings are put together with the same technology. If you ever go to Toronto, that Cinesphere, the IMAX theater, that was built in 1969 using the same technology. So now it's being used to make foundations all over Canada and North America, actually. The same technology for domes, we put up this building for a First Nations community in Michigan. I think they're the Chippewa Ottawa band out there, and so they wanted something, this design, this look, and it was they're quite happy with it. Another division, we do big industrial domes, again using the same hub and spoke system, obviously a much bigger scale, but this all goes together. It's made all at the same factory, all at the same plant. With the galvanized steel, sometimes it's stainless steel, depending on products. We build these all over the world. Here's an example of 3 domes out in BC. Those domes look small in the picture, but they're actually 100 meters, excuse me, in diameter, 105. So there you can run the Olympics in them. Now back to the foundations. That's what I do. The division is the MultiPoint Foundation System. Even though it's steel and everybody thinking that it's, it has to be 90 degrees, we can make unique shapes, as you can see. And this is one of these. This was a daycare and a community center up in Northwest Territories that we designed. That's the end product, what happened afterwards. So you can think outside the box with our system. We can design anything and we can make it work for you. But this is the basic structure. If you're talking housing, let's talk housing, you're going to have, a square or a rectangle, basically. And the multi-point, let me just show over here. So this is why it's called multi-point. You've got all these multiple points touching the ground. And that's how the system works. So if there's any shifting underneath, you won't notice it because the bridging between the points picks up the load and everything is smooth. And here's the basic principle, the idea, right? This was designed in, again, 1980s. At the request of CMHC, because the housing stock up north of the 6th parallel was moving because of the permafrost was shifting. So this is designed to be adjustable and relocatable if needed. So if there is a big drop on one side, you can actually go out and you'll see here when you come up at the end of the presentation, we have adjustable rods and you can adjust the height as it goes along. Each base plate can take up to 30,000 pounds. So when you have multiples of these, you can support a good solid building. We can go up to 3-4 stories if need be on the same site. Again, this is an up close picture of you can see how we're installing. Here we're actually rolling the. This is a modular home. forget exactly the location, but we're rolling it off the trailer onto the MultiPoint foundation system. Again, if you come up to the front, you'll see how it goes together. Everything's already pre-cut, pre-engineered. You don't have to worry about anything. It comes ready to go. You just snap it into place. Anybody can install it. It comes with a very good diagram and description. Everything's numbered. It's really easy to go up. Average house will go up in a day and a half, 2 days. You have a foundation in place. That's the hub and spoke really up close, how it goes together. You'll see how strong it is. Again, and it's multiple applications. You have problem soils. Some communities have floodplains. Sometimes you have contaminated soils. That's not the best terminology. I'd rather call them brownfields. If you're familiar with brownfields, like a gas station that you're not going to excavate because it's very expensive to do that. And I'll get into it later, what happened in the city of Vancouver. It was very successful there. Permafrost, and you can, again, temporary locations because you can move the building as needed. We have some awards over the last 60 years. The year 2000, CMHC, we got the Northern Housing Award. And then last time there was a conference here, the Fort Severn community won the housing award using our MultiPoint foundation system. And I was told that they're going to be ordering more. Actually, they want to use it for their houses and retrofit. So what's going to be happening there, they're going to be lifting current housing on cribbing, and then we're going to build the foundation underneath, and then we're going to lower it into place. So you'll be saving housing stock, and it'll be off the ground. You won't have to worry about flooding and anything else. Everything comes already crated, like I said. Comes on one delivery, depends on your location, but usually it'll come by truck, either winter roads or regular roads. Once in a while, it does get flown in. It does happen. Again, and you can skirt it off either way. There's many ways you can skirt it off. Some people use the wire mesh just because you need the airflow, but you don't want the animals getting in there or somebody else. They're an example of the timber pads that sometimes you need to use to supplement the load distribution. So that's all designed. It's all custom designed based on the building. Again, these are adjustable. So you can't, if you got a little bit of a slope or a little bit of a grade on your site, you can't adjust it as you're installing it. You use a laser level, you level it on top, and then the bottom you make the adjustments. Speaking of adjustments, we can also, design you a system that can sit on a sloped site, sloped property, so you don't have to worry about backfill, you don't have to worry about retaining walls or anything else. You just tell us what you got, give us your grading, and we'll design a system that's ready to go. Typical how you connect the MultiPoint foundation system to the building. This is one way with the saddle brackets. This is your standard construction, A-frame type of construction, stick construction. You can use I-beams at the very top if you're using containers or modular homes or SIP panels. So that's another way that the system will show up on your site. Again, a unique way we can design anything we want. This is in Wati. They designed this for their community center. And the end result is this, from the inside and the outside. Has anybody seen this? Anybody been up there? No? No? Another feature, again, like I mentioned earlier, was the prevention of flooding for your buildings. It could be any building. It doesn't have to be just housing. So, anybody have problems with flooding? A lot? So what do you do? How do you remedy that?
Dig lots of ditches.
So what?
Lots of ditches?
Lots of ditches?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of pumps too?
A lot of pumps.
A lot of pumps, yeah, okay. And then sometimes you get mold, right? So with this system, it's off the ground, yes, it's higher, it's not at grade. You're gonna need some stairs. But in this way, this community here, this is in Wainless, Manitoba. So they were constantly getting flooded all the time. So they said, okay, they contacted us and we built them these foundations. These are about 3.5, 4 feet off the ground. And as you can see in the bottom left picture, even though the area gets flooded, the houses are still safe, they're dry. This is a cottage that in the Ottawa Valley, there was flooding in the Ottawa Valley in 2017, 2019. Again, the same thing. This was right on the ground, and you could see where the color changes on the house. That's how high the water level was. Yeah, so this is about 4 feet off the ground now, and they're happy. You know, if you go back now, actually, they painted the whole MultiPoint foundation yellows. So it's got a different look, you know. We have supplied MultiPoint foundations to some communities in Saskatchewan during COVID. They became isolation pods, and then later they turned them into housing units. So that's doable. We do not supply the buildings. Again, let me be clear. We just supply the foundation systems. We deal with anybody. We deal with all the suppliers. So they talk to us. We talk to them. We know their requirements. They know ours. So we can design anything for you. This is something that happened in Alaska. These are ancestral homes for the community there. They're literally falling, as you can see, into the Bering Sea. The state went to them and said, listen, we're going to buy you new houses. They said, no, we want to keep these. I said, fine. They contacted us, said, can you help us? What can you do? Well, we came up with a solution that we jacked up the houses on cribbing. We built the foundations. Then we put skis underneath the foundations. And then we towed it in 5 miles, all the houses off the coast. This was done in the winter. It wasn't the warmest project, granted, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So, and we've done this a couple times already. There was a project on an island in the middle of the Ottawa River, and the same thing, he was flooded, but he didn't know how to get anything across. He couldn't get cement across because it'd be just too expensive. So it came to us, it was in December, and he said, okay, well, wait until the river freezes. We'll build you the foundation. We'll put it in crates and just put skis on them, and he towed it across the river. And then in the springtime, he put it up. So this worked very well. That's how strong the foundation system is. They're craning this onto a barge in Seattle, I believe, to go up the coast. And it can, you know, it's just so solid, it's so robust. It's really hard, you can't bend it, it's impossible. I mentioned SIP panels earlier. This is a project up in Arviat, Nunavut. This is a home hardware project where it burnt down, and they needed this up in a matter of months. So we were able to design the system, manufacture it, ship it up there within 8 weeks. They set it up, and then they put SIP panels, and we didn't get the final pictures, but you can see now it's operational and it's up and running. So within half a year, they had a new home hardware. We also do man camps and multiple stories, as I mentioned earlier. So this is this is north of Sudbury, the Iron Gold project. Who's familiar with that project? Some people, okay. Mining site. So there, the ground was a little off. So in this case, one of the stipulations for a multi-point foundation system is when we show up, the ground should be level, should be compacted as much as possible. If it's not, then you can't adjust it, but it's ideal that so they put a gravel pad, usually about 6 inches of gravel in this case. Not in all cases, but depending on your location, sometimes you can't get gravel, so we will do something else. But in this case, this is what they did. The foundation here is denser than a usual module because of the loading of the three units on top, so that's how that works. But by the time our foundation was being built, these modules were being built in the factory, so when our installation was finished, these showed up a week later and they're ready to go. So you're saving time and you're saving money that way too. Because you're not waiting for something to dry, you're not waiting for something to drill, it's ready to go. This is the city of Vancouver, which I mentioned earlier, brownfields, where the former gas station, where you're not going to dig out the old gas tank, the storage tank, because it's too expensive. You can dig it out, but you have to take it to a special landfill. Then you have to bring in clean fill, and you have to get permits and everything else. So again, time, money, and expense. Here, there's a 10,000 square foot footprint. It was up in 4 days. And then these came in a week later and they just popped them into place. There are 25 sites like these in downtown Vancouver. And everybody's living in these apartments, and it's great. and they're right beside, in some cases, they're right beside the subway or the SkyTrain, they call it out there, and they're happy. Now, what's happening also, and some of these sites are in prime locations, so developers are now coming and saying, look, we want to go like higher, we want to go 20, 30 stories. So what's going to happen is they're going to go backwards. They're going to take the cranes, they're going to take it off, they're going to take all the modules apart, take the foundation, move it to another site, and then restack them again. So that's what's going to be happening in Vancouver. Again, this is how sturdy it is. You can see how it goes up, and you can't even tell because you skirt it at the bottom. So when you're going to be walking around Vancouver, you won't even notice that it's sitting on a trowdetic system because it's just covered with the skirting, and it fits right into the landscape. And what's happening here? Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. It's designed as a floating slab. That's the technical term for it. The foundation, again, it's like I said, it's built as one unit, so it acts as one. Minimal preparation, that's the main thing. Minimal prep. You don't need to do a lot. You don't need to bring a big excavator. You don't need to bring cement trucks in. You don't need to bring dump trucks in. Just one delivery and that's it, and you're ready to go. Everything's custom designed, everything's engineered, everything's approved by the building code. We can go 3 feet, we can go as high as 10 feet if you're in a flood zone, or if you're on a sloped property, we can accommodate that again. Everything's ready to go, as I said. You don't have to worry about it. It snaps into place. You can even try it yourself. You come up to the front, you can see how it goes together. It's easier than IKEA, honestly. It is. Who's tried to put IKEA stuff together? Or a barbecue? This is easier than a barbecue. Their instructions are in English. All right, and everything is numbered, so honestly. I've trained people at Habitat for Humanity, had no construction experience, and within half a day, they're telling me, Peter, just go away, we got this. Go have your coffee, we're good. So that's how easy it is. And like I mentioned, you can disassemble it and you can move it around. And I just repeated myself. And there it should be. That's it. Did I go too fast? Did I? Okay, thanks. Thanks for listening. Like I said, I've been at this, I've been in the construction industry for 35 years. As project manager, as site foreman, as a builder. And now I've been with this company about 3 years. It's going to be 3 years now. And I've been across many communities across Canada, back and forth all over. And this is a really good system, honestly. And, a lot of communities are telling me that, we don't have the space. We have a wait list for people for housing, but we don't have space. And I talked to them and said, listen, well, you can build up too. You can build 1 or 2 stories higher, and you double your capacity right there. This is one community just outside of Vancouver. Their wait list is like 300 people or whatever, and they only have room for 20 houses. I said, well, at least take those sites. Because the cost of our foundation for a single story or 2 stories is not that much difference, but you double your capacity right away. So you reduce your wait list. So something to think about. It's a lot of communities are beginning to look at that, trying to think that way. It's a possibility. A lot of manufacturers, you can use modular systems. You can use SIP panels. In California, if whoever's interested, I can send you some pictures of a project we did in California with containers, 2-story container systems. Totally retrofit it, and they look, you can't even tell, once you go inside, you can't tell you're in a container unit. So, and open invitation, anytime you're in the Ottawa area, just let us know. Take my card, let us know, we'll give you a plant tour. We'll show you around. We'll take it to, there's a couple of sites around the factory where you can see the foundation that's in place. So please, anytime. Take us up on it. Okay?
Do you guys have any questions?
I do. We use 4-foot crawl spaces, and all our plumbing is down there.
Right.
Our furnaces and all that. Can you insulate those things and put your furnaces down there?
Yes, and certainly you can. I thought I had a slide. We call it a utilidor, where we build a cavity within the foundation. You can put in certain cases, if you don't have plumbing or whatever, you can,
Well, our ductwork and all that, we put our furnaces under too.
yeah, it'll go under. So when you use your skirting, when you do the skirting, you could put insulated skirting. So and then you can put a trap door on the floor, and the hot and the warm air will go.
We usually go through our crawl spaces or our,
Right, well, this is the crawl space, that's what you're gonna get right now, that's kind of the, you know, so you gotta make sure that somebody's not the NFL linebacker going through those, you know.
we'll insulate it up, and our utility room, that's where we'll put our crawl space instead of.
Okay. Yeah, we can, I get it, you tell us what you need, we can design something for you. If you need it, if you want to put it underneath, that's always doable. It can be as long as the foundation, or it could be just a small section of it, right? So it depends how you want to do it. There's a gentleman in California on another project where he moved the foundation 100 miles, and he put a trap door, and then he just has an opening where he has to get into his utilities, but it's just, you know, 4x4 section. Delivery times, anybody interested, delivery times? They're about 6 to 8 weeks after shop drawing approvals. So whoever's thinking about winter roads, you should start thinking now, because we have a 2-week shutdown at the end of December. And usually winter roads are what, January, February, maybe March. With climate change, who knows? Right, so get that in there. CMHC knows about our system because they actually came to us in 1980s to do this, so this is approved by them, so it's nothing new to them. If you mention that you want to use the Geodetic MultiPoint Foundation system, they'll know what you're talking about. Well, hopefully. Yeah, there are personal changes, this or that, but they can go through the history, and we can show them, you know. So it was on their initiative that this system was created. And it was tested at the University of Waterloo and by National Research Council in Ottawa. So it's tried and proven. We haven't had any recalls. We haven't had any failures in 40 years. And the good thing is, again, local community people, you can put it up yourselves. You don't need special training. You know, there's videos online. It shows you how to put it together, how to snap it together. Anybody want to come up, come have a look? Hey? Oh, yes. When I brought it again, I figured why not? I didn't want to take it apart. Lamb, I think we're done.
All right. Thank you for sharing the presentation. And on behalf of the working group, we'd like to present you this gift as a token.
Oh, wow. Oh, very nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening.
I couldn't go behind you there, you get the whole panoramic shot.
All right. Yes. Right. That's, well, actually, it's not too far. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we've toyed with that. The easiest thing would be the skis, but. Yeah. In the winter. Yeah. But you want to put wheels. It's possible. This snaps, this comes up. Yeah. This is a demo, but it would be, minimum height would be about 36 inches, average. 3 feet, yeah. 3 feet. We can go a little lower if you want lower, we can go to about 30. But we can go higher, like, what would happen when I say we're, yes, yeah, there's no basement. Yeah, well, you can't, if you want a crawl space, we can bring one for you, it's called a utility. Yeah.
When the foundation is built, the bottom is on this.
Pretty much. Yeah, you're gonna get, yeah. In certain cases, it'll be even more.
Say you got a house and 34 by 34. So that's the
Yes. Yeah, it'll be it's the footprint of the building, will be the footprint of the foundation system. Yeah. It goes up really good. It's about, right now, ballpark is about $25 a square foot.
and this material is all used.
This is the last one.
No, this is for a demo. This is aluminum, so it's, these